Hey, this is Hardline, Destructoid's video game news podcast. My name is Jordan DeVore, and we have a full-on crew, finally. Steven, look at Steven. Look at that
Hey.
beautiful face, that new haircut.
He got back from grocery shopping.
Yes, he did. That's right. He missed last time because of groceries.
Hey, it's
That's
important.
Brett over there.
Hi,
Hi,
friends.
Brett. And Dale. We haven't had Dale on forever.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm back though.
He's been caught up with a million things, moving.
Yeah,
Still is, it sounds like.
yeah, whatever. Okay, games are more important, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, sure.
So I mean, there's not. We were trying to think of topics to talk about, and there's really not a whole lot of big news. I mean, Windows 10 announced. What are you going to say about that? Aside from the obvious joke of why did they name it that?
Hey, I just saw a line of code. And,
I did too.
Yeah, you saw that? Okay, that's cool. Basically,
Apparently, was that real or was that a joke?
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe they might have named it Windows 10 to avoid coding errors in old software that would have arisen from naming it Windows 9. So
basically, if there's a 9, then the software would be like, hey, this is Windows 95 or 98.
yes.
You do not want. I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm super gullible and I believe everything I see on social networks. So
It's like Y2K
We'll go.
all over again.
yeah, we'll go with it. Fuck it. I mean, but that's the extent of, and it should be the extent of how much you or I care about why it's named Windows 10. So it's good enough, right?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
As soon it won't matter. The second it's out, it won't matter. I mean, it already doesn't matter what it's called. So
Yep.
people just obsess over, and this happens in games, especially game consoles. It's like we obsess over the name beforehand.
Right.
I mean, Wii U excluded because people are still shitting on that name, but
As they should.
as they should. It was the misstep, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not really important.
Nope.
But I mean, Smash is coming out. That's going to be good,
Yeah.
right?
Why is it called Super Smash Brothers? Let's talk about that name. Actually, it's not. That's stupid.
Let's talk about how it's not Smash Bros. 4
Yeah,
and
really.
how people who write it like that make me angry, Jonathan Holmes, Destructoid writer.
It's a weird predicament though, because you need specificity. That's the point of a name. So all these games that just call themselves the same name as the first game, like when Mortal Kombat rebooted and they just called it Mortal Kombat, like
Yeah, what is that?
stop doing that.
Yeah. Or Nintendo's new whatever. What
Yeah.
happens when
Oh,
you use something
God.
new stuff? Is it new? Ultra new?
Well, it's like modern doesn't mean modern because now we're postmodern, but that's fucking stupid.
Shit's getting deep. Yeah. I'm
The
glad I
new-
just play him and not name him.
Yeah, the new 3DS in particular bugs me because there's already been situations where I'm trying to write a headline and it's like I want to use the word new before 3DS, but I'm not talking about the new 3DS, and it just gets me into trouble, so I have to rewrite it again and again. And then people get mad at me because I'm too cryptic or something, as they always do.
It's like
Yeah.
Xbox One was a hard enough name to work around once in a while, just because it's, especially in speech, it's confusing. Like, but yeah, no, Nintendo with the new, I mean, it's like new Coke times a million because they're just going all out with new.
But now they can do classic 3DS. And
This sounds cool as shit, actually.
that sounds so rad.
NES Classic, and it'll just look like a NES, like that old Game Boy SP.
I think we should just move to call it Classic 3DS all the time on our site from here on out. It's a
Mm,
badass name.
I call it 3DS Classic.
Whatever. Who cares?
But are you guys any of you getting it? Probably not midnight, are you? Steven, would you do that?
Get the new 3DS?
No, Smash Bros. Smash Bros.
Oh, I have Smash Bros.
How did you get it already?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm coming to get you. It's not fair, damn it.
Whatever, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, well, so you can actually talk about it then, since all I've played is the demo.
And so this is actually why I was talking about this with you yesterday. I was going to write that thing about like my one sort of
Oh yeah, okay.
with the game is it's very tailored to the 3DS, and that's like both, I guess, praise, but also kind of evidence that they, I mean, there's been they've gone on record in saying, oh, we can't do transforming characters because of 3DS. They couldn't do ice climbers, I think, because of 3DS
Yes.
as well. So obviously, it's been the cause of some restrictions, and I'm not sure why. I don't know. People aren't really talking about that as much, but it sort of lacks, like, there's a lot of modes, but the modes are basically all the same for every character, which doesn't really encourage you to use every character, including the new characters. And if you've been playing Smash Brothers for the last 15 years and are kind of entrenched in your ways, it's hard to be like, yeah, let me use Shulk. But yeah, that kind of made me sad. I missed the melee event matches and break the target having different stages for each character versus the new thing with targets, which is just Angry Bird, and you crossed with the sandbag game. So you hit a bomb and do damage to the bomb, and then you hit the bomb towards the physics glass and wood. I don't know. That kind of made me sad, but otherwise, it's fun and good. Online is a weird mix of like working very well and like totally just locking up for 10 seconds at a time and then working well again.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Neat.
And then more recently, it's been an input lag problem. So they kind of got a middle ground instead of it being really good or really bad. Now it's kind of, I don't know.
Always bad.
Well, it's just this weird, like, you have to adjust to it and
Oh,
change
okay.
it because of the input lag. So I don't know. It's never going to be the ideal way to play a fighting game.
Input lag's always a really good thing to have in fighting games.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know how much. The problem with Smash 3DS is just, again, that it's on a 3DS and you have to have other people with a 3DS to play with, and none of the people I know and hang out with regularly even own a 3DS. So
don't you also need your own copy of the game?
Yeah.
Which is, I was kind of disappointed to hear that.
There's one mode where I think, because I haven't tried it, but I think it lets 3 other people play as Shy Guys. Or at least there's a picture of 3 Shy Guys. The same as like Mario Kart does.
Thanks.
I haven't tried it because I don't know anyone with 3DS. But yeah, you have to have a copy of the game. So I mean, the Wii U is obviously going to be the better version, the party version, whatever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, especially since you can use GameCube controllers and
Yeah.
multiple controllers for that matter. Everyone should be able to do 4-player.
Someone did sketchy mod things with the 3DS to make it you'd be able to play Smash 3DS with a GameCube controller, which is kind of cool. But I'm not gonna open my 3DS.
Also, if you haven't seen this thing he's talking about, it's like just wires hanging out of a 3DS. It does not look very nice.
You to really, really want to do that. So, I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
There's no going back, probably.
Yeah. So having played it on 3DS, what does that do for you on Wii U? Does it make you anticipate that version more, or does it kind of placate your need for Smash? Or
I mean, they're different. I think they're gonna get the people who are really into Smash both ways, either way. And then the people who are really into it are probably appreciate being able to just play it portably and like mess around and have fun. So yeah. I mean, it's not like it's making me want the Wii U version more. I mean, I like having Smash on a console to play with people anyways, because it's fun sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah. The whole playing it on a portable, some are going to have issue with that. Most people think it's going to be great, but the whole being able to find someone else to play with, I think that's kind of a bummer in general. It's not like racing games where it's easy to do multiplayer because it could be asynchronous and literally every turn and time is recorded. So when you challenge someone, they don't have to be there. They don't have to be logged on. And you're racing them exactly because, when you start, that playback can start and you can see their ghost, or actually I fucking hate ghost playback in a racing game. But anyway, yeah, like I think that's the only type of game that you can just I guess puzzle games.
What about
But yeah, you
like
can just
golfing?
record someone's play and then play against them at any time. That's magic. Fighting games, man, that's tough. There's going to be a future where you can play fighting games reliably online without any of those issues, but it still feels like a million miles away to me.
Mhm.
What do I know? I play racing games. Poorly.
Yeah, you're like knee deep in Driveclub right now.
Yeah, this is like racing game season for some reason. But Forza's out today, right? Forza Horizon
Yeah.
2?
Yesterday. Yeah, I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah.
Oh, you went for it, Brett, huh?
I did, yeah. I love Forza Horizon 1 way too much, so I went out and got Forza Horizon 2, and I love open world racing games.
They kind of weird me out, but I like that one in particular. Horizons. And then Driveclub, I've been playing the shit out of that game. The review coming a few days, 4 or 5 days, something like that. Yeah, losing sleep to it. And, well, you'll see. It's good. I can say that, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
No.
I've said it in a preview before. I can say it now. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's based on your preview impressions, not your current
I could
review
say this.
impressions.
I could say that I'm glad that they went back to the drawing board and worked on it again and again. I'm not necessarily glad that it was delayed this long, but it's good. What else?
I don't know. Yeah, what else? Well, we were talking about Hyrule Warriors really briefly. I think I'm the only one playing it right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like it. It's funny because I probably shouldn't like it because I'm not really into Zelda that much, honestly. I mean, I appreciate the characters and all that, but when I think about the number of Zelda games I've beaten, it's very few. I usually just don't see them to the end. And I played maybe 4 minutes of the entire, like collectively, I played 4 minutes of Dynasty Warriors, the entire series. So
Your entire life.
yes, like maybe less than 4 minutes, and yet I'm really, really loving the game. It's just
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
changing the setting and the characters does a lot for making that enjoyable for people
Don't
like
say that
me.
too loud because they'll hear that and they'll keep doing that. Of course, in a Nintendo kind of mindset, that's great. You could do that with every Nintendo property, and I'd be, well, to an extent,
Yeah.
I'd be okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not already trying to do more of that. I mean, aren't they doing the Dragon Quest one too?
That'd be less
really?
cool.
I still am kind of into that, despite not liking Dragon Quest. But I like the monsters in Dragon Quest, and they look cool in the new one in that game. So the combat didn't look as good to me from the TGS videos, but who knows?
If I could see through the screen into the future, someone watching this, they would have like upset face or like down eyebrows for your not being into Zelda and then not liking Dragon Quest. I mean, I'm okay with it. Don't get me
Like-
wrong.
They're just not my. Oh yeah, of course. They're just not
Yeah.
my thing. I can't like everything.
Sure.
They're good,
I
but
told Brett this a couple weeks ago, but like my super secret is that Zelda's okay. Like it's not. It's never changed my world. I've beaten a lot of the games, but it's like, what Zelda, whatever, you know.
I only really like Wind Waker.
Whoa, now that's
I do like Wind Waker. I'll say that much.
a little bit stronger than mine. Like you only like Wind Waker. Like
I mean, the rest are okay. They're fine. Whatever. I'm not
So-
gonna-
that's there's a lot of okay games.
My big Zelda thing is I think that Ocarina of Time is only the 4th best Zelda game, which blows a lot of people's minds because a lot of people consider that like the best game of all time. Link's Awakening is the best Zelda game of all time.
Oh my god, we're getting into Final Fantasy territory here.
This is gonna end poorly, but
Yeah,
let's
dangerous.
continue.
Final Fantasy 12 is the best. Okay, move on.
Yeah, we'll save that for another time. Never.
What about Brett? What about Majora's Mask? I know there's like some people who love that above all others, but where do you put that?
Not really all that high. I go Link's Awakening, then Link to the Past, and then Zelda 2, which that blows people's
Okay,
minds.
Yeah,
what?
Zelda 2 is a jam, man. That's my favorite one.
Too.
I can't stand it.
Then Ocarina of Time, and then maybe Majora's Mask or Wind Waker or something. I don't know.
Something. Everything else is
there's
just way
Zelda
down on the
fans.
list.
They do the stitching, like, or not the stitching, but etching, like on a piece of wood. You know, like it's a room. It's actually their headboard. They like etch their favorite top 10.
What Zelda fans like to do, and maybe they've stopped doing this, is try to figure out the timeline of the games and the divergent timelines and all that stuff. I could never really wrap my head around that.
I just play them, and then
I
People
just
are the-
mashed through the text really quickly. And
People
Oh, no.
are fans of things are really into like connecting. You know, people did that with Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy X. They're like, this is the future of Final Fantasy VII, and always hated it.
Really? I've never heard that.
but
Yeah.
like I can't understand the game on its own. It's just, you know, like to put two together is just like bad.
Well, it's like the same thing people do with like obsessing over the little like Pixar Easter eggs, and they make like a Pixar universe. Like people just want to connect all their things, and that just has always baffled me, and I thought it's dumb.
And there's that.
I mean, I can get it to a point. I wouldn't do it myself, but if you have something you're that obsessed with, you're just gonna look for ways to entertain yourself with whatever, you know, like all these little bits of insight, you know. So the Pixar thing was kind of cool, even though I don't subscribe to it. But
I have too many games to play to be thinking about how one's connected to another. Like way too many. This is crazy season right now. Poor Chris Carter. My God, I'm trying to help him out as much as I can, but I'm losing my shit over playing 3 games at once. He's regularly doing like 5 games a week. That can't be healthy.
I feel so bad for him. I'm actually playing video games.
damn, that is.
You did what? Your first 2 reviews?
No, my second and third reviews.
Second and third reviews.
Wow, man. It's just
Which
getting
still
crazy.
blows my mind because you've been here a while. Then
He's gonna
again, I
hide-
do no reviews. So. Dale, what else are you playing besides Driveclub?
I'm
What
playing
are the RPGs?
Tears to Tiara 2. It's an Atlas SRPG
Oh,
kind of visual novel-ish. Man, I like it, but it's pretty talky. Damn, like a lot of times I'll play the games I'm reviewing at night, like really late when I'm done with everything, done with the day, you know. And I like the game. When it's gameplay, I'm digging it. When it's text, I've fallen asleep. Sorry, Atlas. Sorry, everyone in the game, but yeah, I've fallen asleep a few times. And then I'm playing R No Surge, which is actually already out. I'm just really behind. I don't like it. So there's that. So,
Wow.
yeah, and both of them are long ass games. So, and Driveclub is, like I said, embargo is up in a few days. So I'm trying to finish that as well. Which now it's multiplayer. It's gone online. So I'm trying to play with. In fact, there was a cool club. They called themselves the Collusion Club. It was a bunch of fellow journos, and they had one spot opening. And I was like, damn, I want to be in that club. And it's 6 members to a club in Driveclub. And I kept trying to join, and the servers were shit the last 2 days, like off and on. There, you know, Sony's trying to get them set up for review purposes, and it kept disconnecting every time I tried to join the club. I woke up this morning first thing, and some level 1 fucknut is taking my spot. So enjoy, you know, Phil Kohler and Kyle Overland and all the other guys. Let's see, Nex is also in there. Enjoy that level 1 nobody and his shitty driving skills. But if you want, you know, I'm level 22, and I've been playing racing games for 30 years. I'm pretty fucking good. I drive manual. So if you want to lose,
send in your application.
I mean, and this loser could be someone that we know and could be a great person. But I doubt it. So fuck that guy and hook me up. I sent in a request this morning, so if you guys are watching or not.
Phil, as soon as this episode's over, burn this to a DVD, mail it off to Kyle, and this is Dale's video application.
His formal video application.
I just really like the name of the club, Collusion Club. That's pretty good.
We gotta get some PR in there if it's the Collusion Club.
That might be the level 1 guy. I don't know. I don't want to screen name versus real name rant because that is like 10 episodes on its own. But yeah, some fucking XB124H is the other person. So that, like I said, it could be the most important person in the world. It could be fucking Kaz or I. It could be, it could be anyone. Wait a minute, is Kaz? Yeah, Kaz Rai is super relevant. I was just fixing to say, is that dude relevant anymore? But he's like the president of Sony. He's
It's
like
ever
Shuhei
since,
Yoshida's boss.
yeah, since he moved to that position, we don't really, like us as a site and other sites like us, don't really hear him
Oh
speak
yeah,
as
dude.
much.
He gets up at like 11:30 a.m. Like has people wash his feet. He drinks Japanese scotch and smokes cigars, and he's like, "Dude, I'm so glad to be done with these video games. All right, what's on? What's
Yeah,
on
now
that?"
we just have Shu to hear from, which is always a treat. But
He's great, man. He's like his social presence is so good. It's not manufactured like a lot of other leaders.
most other,
Yeah, most other, yeah.
Yeah.
It's real. I mean, you see him pulling out his little phone and, you know.
I think he
So-
must have just clones of himself to be able to get that done in every, because he's always on Twitter. He's just, oh, he's everywhere at all times, just about.
But if you were the boss of a mega corporation and you could pick what you do with your time,
Yeah, yeah.
so
I'm sure that's
some
what's
of his
happening.
personal tweets, it's like his daughters. Usually his daughter's playing Sony video games, but like, it's funny. And when we were in Tokyo for TGS there was an earthquake. It was a rather large one.
Really?
No, it was right before TGS. It was like 4 or 5 days before.
Oh, okay.
I was on a train with friends, and the train was slowing down. And then I felt a feeling that you shouldn't have felt when the train was nearly stopped. And I was like, oh, shit, earthquake. And my friends were like, nah, there was no earthquake. That was a train. I'm like, you've never been to Japan before, biatch. It was an earthquake. So, of course, I pulled up Twitter, and all of my expat friends and other people visiting were like, oh, earthquake, yeah. And I was like, wow, what is that? I was like, what was the rating on that? I felt it in a train as the train was stopping. And the first response was Shuhei Yoshida. And he was like, and he told me the information and linked me, and I was like, whoa, that's a cool follower, yeah. That's not a humble brag or anything.
He's here to serve his people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. He's literally just checking Twitter and tweeting things out and fart jokes. I've actually seen a few fart jokes. Like, just a real dude at the end of the day. So good for him. I don't know why I got off on that.
Actually, no, it's really good you did, because I was gonna end the show early, but TGS, we can talk about that. We had Brett on last week. He said a few things, but I mean, you and Steven both went too, so.
So Brett and Steven worked the show. I played at the show and then left. So I felt kind of bad, but they had it unlocked, so I don't feel too terrible. I've been for 9 years. It's my 9th year. And this was the first year that I went and just fucked around, and it was pretty great, I took a lot of pictures and I put those up on the site. Otherwise, I just played things that interested me, and I wasn't out there as a reporter. And that was kind of badass. I want to do that at E3, which I know is impossible because, but like it was possible.
We're not going to let you do that at E3.
It was possible at TGS because it was better year than last year because last year sucked ass. But it wasn't crazy, and there wasn't a lot of announcements. Good show to enjoy. Wasn't too hot. It was nice. So that's my feedback on the show. Was like, yeah, it was cool. I hung out with my friend and we played a whole bunch of games and laughed at people and found weird things on the ground and that like an attendee on the business day. Don't tell the TGS officials. But yeah, it was fun. What did you think of it, Steven, as your first show?
No, I mean, it's as a show, it was like every other show, but with slightly less to do. So it was just kind of like, oh, there's some giant boobs you stick your head in. Cool.
Japan.
Yeah, but I mean that the whole the whole trip as a whole was kind of the greatest thing.
Kind of the greatest thing.
I love it.
It was pretty great.
Are you itching to go back ever again?
I didn't want to leave.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was horrible. I had a horrible. I was sitting there at the airport, just like, you know, on Google Chat Hangout with my friends and just bitching about having to come back to America. And then it was worse having a like because our especially because our plane was like an hour and a half early into LAX, having like a 4 hour layover in LAX. And
Oh, that's
just
good times.
fuck LAX. Ugh,
Yeah.
shit. And you know me, always angry at this fucking garbage country. So
Brett and I were like, if Steven had been on last week, he would have said bad things about America.
It's kind of easy to want to say bad things about America once you leave America. Me as a slightly patriotic-ish person, I'm always glad to come home. But I'll tell you, when you're there in Japan and you're just doing it the Japan way, especially after you fall into that rhythm, there's something about it, man. And you kind of get hooked on it. And when you leave, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
really hard. Yeah. And I'm saying this as a person that's gone back, as a person that's grew up there and has gone back every year, 2 to 3 times a year for his entire life. I mean, I'm always there. And it never gets easier to leave. I just like, fuck, I have to go home.
I've
hate
been
this.
to Japan twice now, and it's both times it's made an impression on me, unlike anything that Europe's ever done. Or I just want to stay in Japan every time I'm there. It's great.
Yeah. That is what the owner of our company is doing right now. He's still there. I mean, like this morning I checked Facebook and there's some pictures of sushi and Japanese brunch, and he's just living it up. So good for him. Yeah. He magically appeared a couple of times during our visit, like he seems to do. He does that, man. He's the weirdest. Like you just go somewhere and he's there, you know? I remember one time I was on vacation in Honolulu, and I'm hanging out, you know, and I had brunch, and I get a text like, "Yo, dude, let's go get Mai Tais on the beach." I'm like, "Okay, I could be a douchebag this afternoon," and we met up. It was great. I was drunk by 2 p.m. and met a friend of his, and we just hung out. And I'm like, "Wait a minute, why the fuck are you here? How did you? Yeah, you know, like he just does that. Like we went to you know, Universal Studios. They do this Halloween thing where they kind of change all the rides into like haunted house experiences, and they add a whole bunch of haunted houses and all themes. We just did that once. It was super random, but that was pretty great. It's just me and Nero doing haunted house things. I think we went to Disney World together once. It's like a boy date. We did. We went to Disney World and we listened to Phil Collins on a long road trip. It was 100% Phil Collins. It was like no other music. It's pretty awesome in my book.
It's always an adventure with Nero.
Yeah.
Just...
Come back home, Nero. He's probably never doing it. Like, if you have a choice, you know, to be fair, there are things that are not great about Japan as well. A lot of things. A lot of things. And, you know, some people would say grass is always greener or whatever, but again, it's easy to get hooked on how different it is, and some of the things are just that much better that you kind of latch on to them. Whether it depends on the type of person you are, whether it be eating or, you know, your day-to-day life or working or whatever, sex trafficking, you know, whatever your thing is, you know, sometimes it's just that much different that you just kind of latch onto it, and you see it happen to people. Like I have friends that have either visited or went to work and just never came back. You know, I wonder if that's our fearless leader. That's what's happening to him. They've kind of sucked him up. If so,
he'll have to be on the run from the Japanese government if he wants to.
I was just gonna say they'll never find him. He's in hiding now.
He's fast. He'll be okay. He'll be okay.
Got that sneaky speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he travels light. Anyway, yeah, TGS was good.
Yeah, it was a good recap.
Yeah, sorry I didn't bring more coverage from TGS. Like, I was super lazy that week, and I feel terrible. But Brett and Steven had it down, so whatever.
So it's all right because Elliot was there to do the work for us.
Elliot, yeah, Elliot Gay, he goes every year, and he is just ready to play some games, man. And we're from the same I guess we're from the same cloth as far as what types of games we like. So I'm always happy to read his coverage because he went and just like pushed through the lines and played the shit out of games that I definitely wanted to hear about.
Yeah,
So we're lucky to have him because one, speaks Japanese perfectly. My Japanese is ass. And anyone that's visited Japan with me, like these guys or anyone else, will tell you, you know, I could talk big shit, and I can definitely. So I can play a game that is fully speeched. I'm usually pretty good. And if it's an old game where there was a lot less text, I'm okay. Once it gets into it, I'm shit, and it's embarrassing. It's bad. So TGF floor demo, I can either play it and take my sweet ass time, and some of those do have time limits, especially on the public days. They'll be like, "Yo," some attendant will come up and be like, "It's been 20 minutes, get out," and I'm like,
they have little timers next to you that they'll hit
some
as
of
soon
them,
as
yeah,
you start.
yeah,
Wow.
and they're very nice about it, but like you've had your time, get out. Okay, but I read like a fifth grader. Give me a minute, you know. But yeah, Elliot doesn't have that problem. So one, he knows the games to play. He seeks out the new games, and then his Japanese is great. So, boom, 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 done. So we should just have him.
He's like our Japanese Chris Carter.
He is. He is a Japanese Chris Carter.
I mean,
that's a funny thing to think about, isn't it?
What happened is Steven and I, we went ahead and we did our morning appointments, and by the time our appointments were done, Elliot had already seen all of this other big stuff. And I was like, oh, all right, well, Dale, what should we do next? Go see
But he did that
Bloodborne.
last year. Last year he rolled up and he's like, "You guys need any help?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he did everything, and I was like, "Awesome, man."
It's kind of perfect to have someone who can read Japanese do the RPGs, which, like, yeah, I'd like to play Bravely Default and like Final Fantasy, but that's text heavy as shit, and I'd just be like, well,
Go. Yep.
It would be
Adventure
hard to
games,
do
or something,
good
you know, like a
coverage
new
of
Metal
that.
Gear or whatever
Yeah.
was fine. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Action games, yeah.
sure.
I played Bloodborne at TGS. There's no fucking words.
And if you go to White Guy Central, which is always in the back of one hall, it's just the Xbox booth. There's just like this. Just no disrespect to Microsoft or
It just happens.
his fans of Xbox. It just happens to be
It's a
that
reality.
there's an Xbox booth, and then there's like, well, this year there wasn't, and last year there wasn't, but always before there was like Japanese booth babes. Those were the only not white people in this booth, and there's always this kind of like invisible barrier between that booth and the rest of the crazy packed show floor of clearance. So if you ever needed to get around fast, you would kind of plan. And again, I'm not shitting on Microsoft for the Xbox. I'm just saying this is a TGS situation where if you need to get around fast, you would kind of work your way back to the Xbox booth because you know there'd be clearing in front of or behind it to get around. And if you've been to TGS, especially on the public days, it's busy, so you need to know the clear pathways.
100,000 people.
You know, obviously less interest. You guys saw the news reports about the Xbox One launch. And what was it? What was the number? It was like 11,000 or 19,000 or something. I know that's irresponsible of me not to know the final number, but like the first week sales it wasn't even 20,000 units. So
They weren't great.
not necessarily dumping on them. It's just not what they have to offer right now is not interesting the Asian audience for sure. Well, I shouldn't say Asian. Apparently, China's cool with it, but Japan isn't necessarily right now.
Actually, one of the weirdest things was because I forget that Square Enix publishes it in Japan, but seeing Call of Duty at the Square Enix booth.
What?
Pretty weird to see that, like the different publishers in Japan that'll pick up the Western titles. I'm like, fuck. I subscribe to all the Japanese YouTube channels of a lot of the publishers, and I'll see something. I'm like, whoa, what is this game? And then I'll read the katakana. I'm like, oh, I already have this game. And why the fuck are you publishing it? Like, what is going on here?
It's the same thing with Deep Silver in Europe. They publish a lot of stuff that, like, they do all the Square Enix is publishing over in Europe. So it's weird to see Square Enix stuff under Deep Silver's banner.
Oh, business. I remember the days when I didn't care about any of that shit, and I just like put the game in the system when it came to my house. You know, someone on Twitter today said, "Remember the Toys R Us Wish books that came out this time of year?"
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, man. Like so.
You gotta mark everything you want and then get like 1% of it.
Yeah. So my brother and I were learning Japanese in school in Japan when we were young. You know, we were still like Nintendo time was like elementary school for us, and we could play any game. But because my stepmom didn't speak a damn word of Japanese, she like just thought or / insisted that we had to have American games. So we would get the Toys R Us Wish book, and we're like, "Oh, the game is out here, Mom!" Like, but we'd get the Wish book and flip through it and have to pick a game, and it have to be shipped from the United States to Japan. Like, and my friends are like, like the fuck. Well, they didn't say the fuck. You didn't say the. Well, you probably did it. They're like, why are you just playing this game now, and why are you playing it on your American NES? You can play on your Famicom, and you're weird. So yeah, the Wish book, good memories, because it's just, I don't know who did like the layout of it or whatever, but as a kid it was just fantastic. You just saw all these games and you're like circling shit. Like, Mom, all these, and she's like, how about one? I'm like, ugh. Okay, one. Anyway, Wish book, cool shit.
Yeah, it's a good note to end it on. Thanks for listening, everybody. Check out, so Bill and Max have we just dumped a ton of videos on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/dtoid. They've been playing Shadow of Mordor.
So fucking good.
I wish I were playing that, but there's no reason for me to have it. I can only play so many games at once, so I'd just be neglecting it if I got it. So I might as well wait. Exactly.
I find it funny that we hit a period a couple months ago where everyone whined that there weren't any games to play this fall. Now there's like a ton of awesome games to play.
Who said that? Screw them. That's
because when a bunch of stuff got pushed back to next year.
Well, to be fair, actually, well, it worked out in our favor too, because a bunch of stuff got pushed out of October. Originally October. I mean, October still is insane, but some of that's in November now or later. But
when shit gets pushed back, I usually go good. Like it's usually great.
That should be the default
not just for
response
us professionally, but like for gamers in general. Like, check out some of these other games. There's a ton of badass games you should be playing right now. So yeah.
I saw a commercial on like primetime television for a video game. I had no fucking idea what it was, and I was like, "What video game exists that is in a primetime TV slot that I don't know what it was?" And then I realized it was fucking Lord of the Rings, Mordor, Shadows, and I don't care about that game even a little bit.
That is exactly how I was, and then someone made me play it, which happens a lot in this business. Like, play this. You got trapped into a situation where you have to play something, and I played it, and I was like, okay, cool. No, play it. I'll help you out. And so I played for an hour and a half first time I played it, and I was like, the fuck? That was cool shit. I don't even care about this type of game. I don't care about the franchise. This is not my genre. Like, I seriously do not care at all. And I played this for an hour and a half, and I really dug it. And so that was my first write-up on the game. I believe I was the first person on the side to play it. And people were like, whatever, dude. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Go play an RPG. And I was like, okay, I will. But, like, seriously, this game's not even for me, and I dug it. So if you like this type of game, you're going to shit your pants, right? So I played it again, and the next time I played it for 2 hours. I wasted a day at some trade show playing it for 2 hours when I should have been taking other appointments. And it was awesome. And I wrote that up, and I said, it's fucking awesome. And people were like, whatever, dude. Then the reviews hit. Save for one. They were all really, really good. And I was like, I told you, assholes, Like, again, I still do not care about, like, the franchise. And, I don't like the art style, and the ghouls fuck me out. And, like, fantasy names just make me want to pull my teeth out.
Yeah,
but the game is fun as fuck. Like, despite, me not caring about it, it's still fun. So... That's my response to you not giving a shit about it. Because I feel you.
I came home with it yesterday and started playing it on my PS4 in the living room. And so I was just making dinner and just making fun of the fucking tropey-ass intro of like, oh, here's a guy with this happy family. I wonder if they're going to be murdered so he can fuel his revenge quest.
He can kill 5 billion people as revenge.
And then they fucking start slitting his wife's throat and shit in front of him. It's like, oh, great, cool. But the fucking enemy system where, like, enemies level up if they beat you is, like, kind of neat. But other than that, I mean...
So I had zero interest in Shadow of Mordor up until we started playing it. Like, if you watch the Let's Play shit that we did on YouTube, the first hour and 40 minutes, you can see me going from pissy and cynical to being absolutely in love with this game, and I fucking, like, I can't get enough of it. It's so fucking fun.
Right? But it's like a slow burn, though. Did you feel that? For me, it was like, okay, fuck this game. Okay, whatever. And it took a long time to get to the point where I was like, all right, I see what's up.
Well, it's like you can see it happen in that like hour and 40 minutes. Like I only really start to get into it at the end, and then I played more of it, and it's just fucking like everything is so tight, everything flows so well, and they really put everything together. Like it's funny because you've got Mordor and Destiny, and both games derive a lot of systems from other games, and Destiny is flat and boring and like they totally shit the bed, and then Mordor out of nowhere they did such a great job with that.
Take that, Destiny.
Yeah, fuck you, Destiny. I beat that game last night. It has the worst fucking last story mission. It's garbage. That game is garbage.
I got 5,000 shrugs for that game, and it wouldn't be enough. I'm just like...
Yeah.
All right, Jordan, wrap it up.
Yeah.
I'll try to wrap it up again.
Without talking about the hottest news from last night, though.
What's that?
Did you not catch the fucking A's Royals wild card game?
Jesus fucking
All
Christ.
I know is that someone's getting a corgi, and that's it.
Royals tied at 7 in the ninth.
Oh, yeah, someone got a corgi out of it. They did.
Not in my house.
Wow, that's what happens when you talk about sports. You get kicked. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Corgi's all that's important from that.
Thanks for watching. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe on iTunes. Subscribe on YouTube. We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
So what else is going up on the channel?
We're mostly just focusing on Let's Play shit right now. We're still gonna catch the occasional like preview stuff. I think we have we have something coming up for that, but it's mostly just Let's Plays. We're gonna be bringing back Just Saying very soon.
Cool.
I know a surprising amount of people are really into that series.
This is fucking funny.
I know I am.
No, you're not. Don't lie to me.
Call right now. All right. Yep. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. So
Ta-ta.
yeah. See you then.
Bye.